Things going with Chad Moyer.
Bruce Gorder on the Rural Radio Network. We're talking with market analyst Mike Zuzolo of Global Commodity Analytics. And Mike, let's start off on the Board of Trade. So far, we got some wheat strength, not so much in the soybeans, and corn is just above water. What are you looking at?
Well, the hard red wheat in the July futures was able to take out its overnight high and get back up towards weekly highs, Bruce. That was not able to be sustained here at midday, though, as we get the noontime GFS weather models coming out, and they are now out through the weekend. And the GFS, which has been the drier of the two primary models, is starting to suggest a little bit more rainfall coverage for both central Oklahoma, central Kansas, and maybe a little bit farther west than Omaha for Nebraska at this point. And there might be some stray showers then again early in the week next week to give a little bit more rain coverage to Nebraska Monday, Tuesday. And I think the hard red wheat has been, solely looking at the weather side of the equation since last night's trade, because the weather models had dried out quite a bit. And these rains are absolutely necessary if we're going to keep those good to excellent conditions elevated at last year's levels.
Yeah, we also probably saw we're going to see a lot of corn planting this week when we see the numbers next week.
Yeah, and I think that's another piece of the puzzle here, is that both the wheat and the corn probably were the short side of spreads in the market earlier this week, expecting big plantings and really timely rains coming in. I'm not so sure the trade's going to feel that way coming back from the Easter holiday, though, because if the GFS and the European models both confirm very heavy rains in the same areas that just got it about 2 to 3 weeks ago, that could really pose some issues for clients I work with, west of the Missouri, east of the Mississippi River, and just west of Hannibal as well. So Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, very much on my mind as we go celebrate Easter this holiday weekend.
Talk about some of the export sales, Mike. Some of that looked pretty good last week.
Yeah, I mean, and I should also say in that last comment, my Nebraska and Kansas clients are very dry, and they're going to be finishing up on corn planting, to your point. But, yeah, export sales, more of the complex, not bad for soybeans, up actually 74% from the 4-week average, and China was our number 5 buyer. That's probably helping us right now, because the meal export sales were almost right at the lowest trade guess, down almost 20% from the 4-week average. Bean oil down almost 65% from the 4-week average. So I think we've seen a real weak meal market develop here, pull those beans lower.
Let's look at those livestock numbers for a second here, Mike. Boy, we've seen good numbers all week, and we're seeing it again today.
Yeah, another beautiful day in the feeder cattle contracts. We're pricing in another record high at this stage of the game. One of the things that we have to be watchful, though, is the cattle on feed report. Expectations are 103 on the placements numbers. That's a big number, and we'll see if that takes our on-feed numbers up above 11.7 million. That's kind of my go, no-go gauge for whether this rally we're seeing right now could be sold off as we come back from the holiday or not.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Mike Zuzolo of Global Commodity Analytics for the Midday Market Commentary, and you can receive 2 weeks free trial of Mike's newsletter when you mention Rural Radio Network. Log on to globalcom with 2Ms research.com. You're listening to the Rural Radio Network.